Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Day 4. What's going on, beautiful people? I'm super excited this morning to talk about something that I think we sometimes underestimate the impact on us, like how we feel or how it changes our mood or um, in a way like discourages us, right? It is something that's external. It's something that can be distracting. It's something that, once you realize the fact that it's external and it's a lot of times out of your control, it's something that you can spend less energy on. All right. What I'm talking about is worrying about people who don't support you. So the title of this is Stop Worrying About People Who Don't Support You. So you kind of already know where I'm going. Not everyone is meant to clap for you. That's just the reality. You know, I've experienced this in relationships. God, yes. Not many, actually, but I have experienced in relationships. I've heard about a lot more horror stories than maybe some of the stuff I went through. So, I don't want to discount the impact, but I've seen it in business. I've seen it in the workplace, whether it's corporate America or federal work or whatever the case may be. Sometimes people are just not going to cheer for you. You got to be okay with that. So here's why. First of all, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. You have no idea what that person is going through. What's stopping them from cheering for you in the first place, right? Is it a dislike they have for you? Is it a disagreement they have for you? I hear people say often they hating on our relationship. Y'all remember that when we was younger? That actually happens as an adult too. I learned that, and that is crazy. Somebody from the outside is so jealous of your relationship, and it's pure jealousy, right? You don't know what it stems from, but you understand the definition of jealousy, and it falls right in that category. So they will try to split you apart. They'll try to work their way in to have one person over the other, and sometimes they'll even, host something and invite one person, and it's weird. I want you to take that same weird mindset and apply it to the workplace. What if there is a power or person trying to split you from the best side of what you haven't even achieved yet? Think about that. These things tend to be able to be flexible to apply to different situations. So let's say you're working hard on a promotion, and there's this person, they really want that promotion too. Or they want to stay stagnant, but they just don't want to see you do it. I'm here to tell you this morning that you got to be okay with that. You got to keep your eyes on the prize. In your relationship, let them be upset because they don't have what you have, right? Let them be upset that you started young or you have the potential to be something more. That's okay. Be careful how you respond. Because again, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know where their limits are. My grandmother used to always tell me, your arms aren't long enough to box with God. There's always somebody bigger and badder. And if you know me, I've played around boxing for quite some time, and I still dance around a little bit. But I don't go far from that thinking often when I'm out and about, whether it's anywhere in the world, anything I'm doing, right? And the reason I'm stressing so much on this point is because I need you to understand their impact can be minimal if you allow it to be minimal. Their impact can be gigantic if you allow it. And when I say they and them, I'm talking about these external forces, right? That try to stop you from getting to the next piece because they offer this distraction of, well, I'm not clapping for you. That's okay. Show more love to the people that are. Find that intrinsic motivation to keep going regardless of who's clapping for you, regardless of who's cheering for you, regardless of who's jealous of you potentially getting this new promotion or moving up in life and experiencing a different level of success or having a relationship that doesn't look like what they know a relationship to or they've never had before, and they want something that you have, so they intentionally come in front of you and go, I'm not clapping for you. And you got to be okay with that. People often doubt what they don't understand. Hey, listen, don't let the fear of the unknown be the fear that stops you from getting where you need to be, right? There are a lot of things that we're going to do and we learn in life. I told somebody the other day, I said, God has a funny way of reminding us how, if that's your belief, if you believe in God, cool. If you got your own belief system, whatever the case may be. But for me, God has a funny way of reminding us, if you think about our infant stages, we don't come out of the womb running. Think about it. Usain Bolt might have. I'm just kidding, right? We don't come out of the womb running. There is a process, right? We got to try to sit up. We got to learn our strengths, right? Even as a baby, we're learning our strengths. We try to sit up. We got to fall a couple times, right? Then we crawl. We figure out how we're going to crawl, right? And then once we start gaining some balance, whatever, eventually, whether it's somebody that's trying to force you, whether it's by like the little bouncers, or, somebody's picking you up and they're trying to show you the strength of your little chubby legs at that point, right? But eventually you start learning, you start going from crawling to walking. And then for some odd reason, I think this is where God shows his sense of humor, at least for my kids. They go straight from walking to running into stuff. Like full speed ahead, boom, just hitting stuff. But if you think back at that process, you ask yourself, man, why didn't God just let us come out and just start running straight off the bat? Because the process, every step of that process, you're completing something that will allow you stability for the next piece. Think about it. We come out, we on our back. First things we have to learn is how to sit up. We got to build that strength, right? I am not trying to get in anatomy class, or all you professionals out there, don't get on me in the comments. But the strength in your back and your spine and the ability to be able to sit up, you're building that strength. And then you start building strength in your arms so you can crawl, so you can move around. You're learning, your mobility skills, different things like that. How to associate emotion with a reaction, or in your conversation, I'm crying because I'm sad, or I need to be changed, or I need to be fed. I need something. There's a desire. This is how I'm communicating that. We fall, so we learn what things hurt us, what we can bounce back from. Boom, fell on my face. All right, don't do that again. All right. Then we get up and we start moving around. We start building that strength in our leg. Each level, we're gaining knowledge and strength to improve ourselves. That's powerful. So, if you doubt the next level, or you have some type of discomfort that takes away your ability to have faith in where you're going, you're only hurting yourself. Fear of the unknown can be such a poisonous moment that'll distract you from your next goal, your next blessing, your next achievement. Keep moving forward regardless who's watching. Remember we talked about those people that's not clapping for you? That's okay. When I was in network marketing, we had to host these living room events. We called them PBR, private business receptions. And they were in the living rooms of people. And I watched that. We grew that business, not just my downline or organization, but, my mentors, etc. And we built that in the dens and living rooms. But sometimes we hosted those events and we were talking to ourselves. There was no one there. We've had to put on such an event as if the room was full. Why? Because we were practicing, we were claiming expansion, we were goaling for something more. So in order for us to do that, we had to condition and reset and sharpen our mindset towards that goal. It didn't matter who was in the room. We didn't rush the presentation because no one was there. No, we did it exactly how we would if the room was full. You got to show up. You got to show up no matter what. Of course, it feels good to, theoretically cross a finish line and you got hundreds and millions of people clapping and cheering for you and holding up signs like, congrats, you did it, you did it. But what if it's no one there? You still have to cross that finish line. So apply that as you need throughout whatever you're going through today. If you are a beautician and you're opening your shop this morning and you have no appointments, I want you to go in there and clean that shop like it's nobody's business. I want you to use the little dolls or whatever, excuse me if I'm mannequins, I apologize, and practice. And you need to go in there and act like your shop is absolutely full, because if that's what you intend to have one day, or you intend to receive, you need to practice for it. You need to go as if the room is already full of people who's watching you, cheering for you, etc. You know, one of my dreams is to one day do a TED Talk. And I always scare myself from even practicing with little TEDx's. There's one in Greenville, little small ones, because I always tell myself I want to talk about the best subject possible. Like, everybody gets up there and I'm like, man, how do they come up with that idea, that strategy? And it's just their experience. So hopefully one day, that's one of my goals. It's on my dream board. One day, that's something I want to do. I want to eventually do a TEDx, which is just a smaller version. A local TEDx, and then eventually do a full TED Talk. So, doesn't matter who's watching. Keep going. My last point. If you're worried about who's watching, understand that success will always attract the right crowd. Your circle is going to change. Your network's going to change. The people you hear from the most are going to change as you continue to move up in different levels of success. That's even in your workplace. I know in the military is designed to, as you move up within the leadership ranks, your network changes, because if you are a higher ranking person, you are supposed to have limited and professional interactions only with a lower ranking person. That doesn't mean you're supposed to have unprofessional interactions elsewhere, but it's built like that. And if you don't do it, they call it fraternization. The reason is because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where there is talk, or it is the appearance of, this favoritism towards this lower ranking soldier being received by this higher ranking soldier, or there is inappropriate acts going on, dating and flirting around, and it's so many different things, right? Now, that doesn't mean these people can't be people that you know and understand and respect, etc. But they do it like that because now you have a different network of leaders. Senior leaders typically hang with senior leaders. You're on the same level. You're having the same experiences. So you can match up on conversations and ideas and strategies to get through what level of experience you guys are going through at that time. And it's not that you can't relate to a lower ranking person, right? It's just most of the time it's just time, right? And sometimes it's discipline and different things, schools and whatever. But if you think about it, of course you can. Hello, goodbye, we speak the same language. Of course we can do certain things, whatever the case may be, but we have to understand that there is a purpose for that. So take that same mindset and apply it to corporate America. Apply it to your success. As you move up in different tax brackets and you're achieving those financial goals that you want, does that mean you can't talk to someone making less money than you? Heck no. You absolutely can. However, be careful with whatever that conversation is. Are you uplifting them, or are they pulling you back down? Your network is important. Who you have in or around you at all times is critical, because what are they feeding into you? I'm not super, whatever you want to call it, religious, just my discipline level. But there's certain things that I don't watch on TV. I don't do like demonic stuff, and I'm good on all that. I don't do like vampire shows. I mean, every once in a while I'll check something out and be like, all right, but it's just because I don't want that pouring into my mindset, and then I'm having dreams about it, and then it's not a whole lot of things that I'm afraid of outside of God, right? That's just how I am, right? However, it's not out of arrogance. It's just out of the fact that if you read Will Smith's book, he talks about the fear of fear, right? I just handle it different. But I'm careful what I put into my mind to try to trick me into some type of fear. I'm careful what I put into my mind that I'll end up allowing to come out of my mouth, because now it's on my heart, and now it's on my mind. So you got to think about that when you think about your network. What are you allowing in your circle? What are you allowing to feed into you that you might one day regurgitate or repeat or recite or say something that you don't mean because you heard it and you started familiarizing yourself with different language and slangs and whatever, and now it's thrown you off. Or it's made you look like you belonged in a network that you're no longer a part of. So you want to build this crowd of like-minded people then you got to be like-minded. You got to be careful what you allow into your mind so you can properly grow in the right direction. You're going to attract the right crowd by way of your actions, by way of your beliefs, your values, the things that you say and do. People are always watching. How do you present yourself? Are you a safe haven for attitude, disrespect? Are you a person people can go to for advice? Do you hang with older people, senior people than you, because you enjoy their experience and their knowledge, and you know that it can help you make certain decisions in your life? Or do you maintain relationships with only younger people because they're impressionable and they'll listen to what you say and they think the world of your experiences? But are you proud of your experiences? Are you proud of where your experiences have taken you? Are you ready to be a mentor? Are you feeding into somebody that's going to distract them, hurt them? And if they take the things that you've applied to your life, you're setting them up for failure. Make sure you're careful who your success attracts and who you connect to. Be a beacon of light. Be a beacon of inspiration. Be somebody that people want to support, that people want to be around, that people want to grow with and network and compile ideas and go out and you guys elaborate on a plan and implement it and it becomes something beautiful. That's the type of people, that's the type of support you want. You want somebody that's going to tell you when you're wrong. With constructive criticism. Not just you're wrong, but hey, I think maybe you could have tweaked this just a little bit. You don't want somebody that's like, oh, I know you knocked that whole thing down, but it's no problem. You've only done it 11 times at this point. Stop worrying about people who don't support you, especially if you're not focused on what you're doing to be supported. Don't lose sight of what your goal or path or drive to success is. Stop worrying about people who don't clap for you. Start clapping for other people. Start doing something worthy of claps. You can start today. I'll wrap this up. I'll go by Jay. See y'all tomorrow. Thanks.